Hi, my name is Leandro Facchinetti, and let's write some code together, shall we? What we have on the menu is Notestrator. Let's get right down to it. We have been, first of all, a quick explanation. Notestrator is this desktop app that allows you to draw on top of your computer screen. So if you're doing a stream or if you are presenting something on Skype or Zoom or something like that, then this desktop app allows you to just draw on top of whatever is that you are sharing. So what we are going to do today is to finish the code review that we have started on, I guess, last Monday. I mean, not even this week, the Monday before that. It has been a while. And there is only one part left for us to review, which is this menu. And not only we are going to review the menu, we are also going to make a lot of improvements. As you can see, many parts of the menu are broken. We broke it as we did other things. So this is the part that implements the menu, and let's get down to it. First, let's see if there is well, I know that there are some similarities between the drawing editor and the menu. So how about I extract this into a layout function, a helper function, right? So I guess the way I'm going to do this is like so. I'm going to put this, I know that you cannot really see everything that's going on this pane, but you should at least be able to see everything that is going on. Oh, that's not how I want to split windows. So give me a moment. I want to have a window below and then a split window on top. On this split window, I will have the drawing editor on the left, the menu on the right, and then below is where we are going to extract our layout function. And I suppose that it makes sense for me to maybe define the layout function on top of everything. Yeah, that's what I'm going to do. Layout takes some, I guess, some body, some content, and is going to return, well, I guess it can be an anonymous function like this. And it's going to return some HTML for us. Now we need to see the similarities between these. So I know that these parts, all the preamble is the same. How about this script over here? That's also the same. So let's grab this chunk up to the body, because when you start the body, then they become different, right? Oh, not even the body is the same. So I guess just the head is the same. And then over here, I guess we now have a good name for this. The content is the body. And then let's remove the repeated part from this one. And then let's find where we close the body and capture this into the template, into the layout, I suppose. Then I can use these functions or this function. So over here, this is the layout. And this is the drawing editor. I just call the layout function with this HTML as argument. And same here. I just call the layout function with that as an argument. Now, I'm not really sure that I like the idea of having a body defined like that. I think it would be better if the layout had some body. I guess it's a matter of preference, but I think it makes more sense for the body to be in the layout. And then this variable doesn't have to be called body. I guess it can be called content. Yeah, and then in this situation where I just have a plain body, I don't have to pass a body like that. And in this situation where I want to style some things, I suppose I can just use a div here, but I'll have to double check. Yeah, let's see what's going on. So setting a font size and family and line height, color, padding, positioning, and then some add root stuff. So I guess that what we just did was safe. Now there is one small detail that I want to get right, which is when I have some inline JavaScript, some client-side JavaScript. By the way, in case you haven't noticed, this is an Electron app written in JavaScript. In any case, in the layout here and in this, well, what do you call those? Well, in the HTML. In these situations, I have some inline JavaScript, some client-side JavaScript that is literally the menu and the drawing window, and I want to have the indentation correct in those little guys. Let's see. So it seems like on this one it is correct by accident, but it is. Let's check this one. Not the drawing editor, the menu. There. Yeah, so this one is incorrect, see? That's what I'm talking about. But now it is correct. There you go. I fixed it. Awesome. So before I commit, let's test. See if we broke something. All right. That is not the app. That's the code for the app. But that is one of the funniest errors I ever got. I even have some of these on my second screen, which I'm previewing stuff. Oh, and because my code didn't run, when I tried to close the app, it didn't work. Yeah, there you go. Now that's working. That's better. On the layout, when we interpolate the content, we need to do it like so. This is part of a library I wrote called liafak.html, and you can learn more about this by watching the previous streams. There you go. The refactoring is successful. Let's see, what else could we extract? I guess we could extract this inline style situation into the layout as well, because it's used in both instances, right? Let's go ahead and do that. It's really easy. All we gotta do is get this invocation, paste it there, and put some parens here. And then remove these. And also remove that. Let's see if there are other occurrences of extract inline styles, and no, there are not. So I think I got this. Let me double check the indentation of the client-side JavaScript, and it is correct on the second one. Let's check the first one as well. Yeah, perfect. Now these changes make sense, and there is some change over there. Yes, perfect. Let's check again. All right. So with that, we have a layout situation going on, and I think I actually am going to call this the body variable anyway, because it may be the case that in the future we'll need some head material. That has happened in another project for me. Hanging there, I just noticed the change to the shortcuts file. And now I want to double check what went into the last commit. Oh yeah, it's just spacing, so that's fine. Let me see if I am missing something else. Well, I think it would be nice to have this as a named argument. So I'm going to change it that way. Also, I think it reads better if I do it like that. And now I need to collapse this. And I'm going to indent this and let's see what comes out. Yeah, everything is still indented correctly. Isn't that awesome? Same over here. I'll pass a body situation. Close it there and indent. Awesome. So let's see the changes and check that the code is still working. The changes make sense. Is the code still working? All right, enough of that. Let's go to the menu again, right there, and start our refactoring pass on this thing. Or review and refactoring and improvement and fixing, all those things in one. First of all, the font. I have two options here. I can go with the system font, which is a good option. It looks good and it looks more native. Or I can try to use a custom font, and that way I have more control. And there is actually, it's not just a stylistic, there is an actual function or reason to go with a custom font here. And that is this labels. I'm measuring them in macOS, and I'm using the system font in macOS. And in some cases, the labels have room to grow, but in some cases, the space is tight, particularly here. So especially when I have text like this, the space might be tight, and I want to make sure that the spacing is correct, so that if you go to a different operating system that will have a different system font, it still needs to look correct. So I think I want to exert more control over this. So I want to not use the system font, but use a custom font. Now, I have two options in mind. I can use the Inter font or I can use Public Sans. I like them both, and I think that both of them will work in this context. So Inter is definitely made for interfaces, crafted for computer screens, and this is what it looks like. It's very similar to the system font in macOS. So that's a good choice, and it works in small formats. I mean, in small letter size. And this is IBM Plex Mono, isn't it? I'm always interested in knowing what fonts they are using. Yes, IBM Plex Mono. So Inter is a good candidate. But Public Sans also looks good, and it is good for system stuff. Well, it's not difficult to just install both of them and give them a try. So that's what I'm gonna do. Let's see, Inter. Okay, I think that the best distribution might be with font source. Is that what the project is called? Font source Inter. And how about Public Sans? Yeah, font source seems to be the most popular and at the same time the most up to date. Right? So let's go with that. Now all I gotta do is install them. I wonder what the process will be like for importing CSS from an NPM package using an Electron app, especially when it's packaged using Electron Builder. I'm really interested in knowing what happens in that case. Well, let's see. Well, I know that, so you see how I mentioned that in some cases you would want to add more stuff to the head. Now I want a custom font in the menu, but not in the drawing editor, but I guess it doesn't hurt to import it. So I will anyway, and it will import a font that is not really necessary for the drawing editor. Maybe it will in the future if we have some sort of text element that we currently don't have. Now, how do I insert some CSS? I don't remember how to do that. So what I usually do is I go to a new tab in Visual Studio Code, switch the mode to HTML, then I go with the HTML5 boilerplate. This is not really the HTML5 boilerplate. This is just the Emmet auto-completion for HTML5. HTML5 boilerplate is a different project altogether. But in any case, when I have this, I can like link and then CSS. So I guess that's a demonstration of a downside of using my liafac HTML library. I still have syntax highlighting because of this extension, but I don't have autocomplete. And in general, I don't have IntelliSense in the same way. So where is my CSS? Well, suppose I can go the hard way about this, which is to just give the path, the absolute path for this. No, but the absolute path for this is going to be hard-coded into the HTML file, and that will not work in other people's machine. But let's give this a try anyway, just to see what it looks like. So, font source, public sans, let's just get Latin. Font source is meant to be used with, like, what is it called? Webpack or Rollup or one of these bundlers. But I just use it there. So I use the compatibility layer with a previous project that was called Typefaces. Anyway, long story. But I think that this function call is going to give me the absolute path. But that's not what I want. I want the relative path. How can I make this path relative? Well, one quick way is to just say path join of dir name with node modules, and then that. Oh, that's not going to work in the console, right? But that's easy to test. I can just save this. And then when I npm start, it's going to run this and it's going to change the HTML files, and I can look at the changes in there. So yeah, this is still absolute. I will not resolve the path then. I would just pass it like this. And I'm not sure that this is going to work when I package the app. But let's give this a try. So I'm not sure that this worked actually. Can look at the changes. And I expect to see just the new line there. And that's easy enough. But what I don't know is if this worked or not. I guess the best way for me to try this is to actually test. Yeah, I think that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to actually test. So I'll pass here inter. That's the one I imported, right? Yeah, so, oh, I imported public sans. Inter and public sans. So inter and public sans. And I suppose I can just open the menu in the browser. mean, it's supposed to work, right? It's still HTML. Yeah, of course, it occupies the whole screen, but that's fine. I can open the inspector, put it on the side, make it smaller, and then it actually looks like something you would see in the app. Require is not defined, but that's all right. We don't need to actually interact with the app. And it's mostly working. Awesome. So now I can play around with the fonts. Over here, I will have... Yes, this... Oh, it's not updated. Why would that be? Let's look at the changes in the menu. Yeah, I don't see anything. Did I not run npm start? Maybe that's that. Yes, here is. The system font. So watch out here on the left as I do this. Especially these parts that have more text. So this is Inter. This is Public Sans. Inter and Public Sans. Also, let's check this against the San Francisco font. So this is San Francisco. Let me cleanse my palette by doing this, and now I don't really remember which is which. I guess I remember because of the command that I have to press, but this is Inter and this is San Francisco. They are very similar, but I actually prefer San Francisco. The spacing looks more correct in that one. Oh, but Inter is a lot better here on this part. The G and everything looks a lot better. And we already know that we are going with either Inter or Public Sans, I suppose. So Inter is a lot, it's much more similar to the system font. Things like the G is about the same. But in Public Sans, things are more different. Things are further apart from the system font. And I think I prefer it, actually. I think it looks better. I really like what they did with the G. Really like the spacing, the shapes, the corners. I think I prefer Public Sans, but it's further from the system font in macOS, so it brings more attention to itself. It has a bit more of character. I have to make the call, so let me do this one more time. I can go for transparency or for a bit of character, but not too much character. I'm gonna go with Public Sans. Yeah, we can always change this later, but I doubt that I will. So Inter Latin goes away and remove font source Inter. Now, oops, let me restart the app just so the HTML changes, and then we can review the changes. So I added Public Sans for that bit of extra control over the font. And then as a dependency on the project, a production dependency, I added this font. I want my production dependencies to go there. And then the menu changed and the drawing editor changed, and that's fine. There's one more thing that I need to test, which is to package the app and see if the font is still there. So now it's very easy for us to tell if we have the custom font there because of the G. The G is different. So let's go to package.json to learn how to build. It's npm run build. Oh, and it's going to download the new version of Electron. I was wondering why it was downloading something, but it's because we updated Electron when we started this refactoring reviewing pass. I don't think that this is going to take too long, but if it does, then we'll switch to something else while it's finishing. Okay, it's about done. And there it is. So now I'll take this thing that we just built. Let me review in Finder. I'll take it out of context. I'll go to my temporary directory and I will drop it there just to make sure that it's not picking up from this directory. It shouldn't. It really shouldn't. But you never know. Yep, it worked. Oh, awesome. So it worked first try, and this way of adding CSS works even in the packaged Electron app. That makes me very happy. Now let's make sure that this path is not absolute, because that would only work on my machine. And that just worked. Awesome. All right, let's commit this and move on. Now, in terms of font size, I have to rethink it because I changed the font family. Oh, I am building the app. I should be starting the app. So what do you think the default font size should be? Well, it's hard for me to tell because I am designing on a display in a higher resolution for the stream, or in a lower resolution for the stream. So I am not really calibrated, but I suppose that if I just see the font in Visual Studio Code along with mine, it sort of looks the right size. So hard for me to tell, but I think I'm going to continue with extra small, which I guess makes sense in the context of an app like this. I'm not doing long form of text. For that, I think I would need to go with slightly higher font. But see, these two, for instance, they look about the same size, this thing and that thing. So I think that my font size is correct. Then in terms of color, what do I want to do? Well, I'm going with gray warm, and I think I should continue. I like the gray warm in that situation. But this default color of 500 is not doing me any favors, I don't think. Yeah, I am going to go with 700 for the default color, and the background, I guess, can be more subdued. I usually go with 50 and 700. Yeah, this blends more nicely with the rest of the apps, or at least with Visual Studio Code. And then for the dark mode, let me bring in my settings and switch to dark mode. For the dark mode, I usually go with a background of 900 and a color of 200. So again, I'm 2 off from the edge on this one, the edge being 900, and I have 900, 800, 700. Then on this one, I have 50, 100, and 200, and that's the one I use. And I think it's looking okay. Now, This thing is the padding around the whole window. And I don't want to change that. I think that that is a comfortable padding, so I'll just do this because I have no reason to have it twice. I don't know why it's there. Then I will do some... So the way I write CSS is usually from the inside out. So I start with the things in the material, in the content, and then I position the box in the page. So that's why I have padding first, then I position the box in the page. So that's why I have position absolute here. And I want the thing to occupy the whole screen. And I don't want you to be able to select text like this. I don't want you to be able to do that in my menu. And I want you to be able to drag in the menu. So you can click anywhere in the menu. The menu doesn't have a frame, and you can just drag it around and see how it blends well with Visual Studio Code. That is awesome. Now, at root, I'm going to have a bunch of auxiliary classes, a bunch of classes that are just a way to reuse some stuff. Let me switch back to light mode because I prefer it, at least for what we are doing now. Now that I have a white background and an echoey room because I am in a different environment for streaming today. So yeah, those color changes make sense. Now, we really need to understand the structure of the menu, and I guess it's good that we have it here in Chrome. So the structure is, this is the thing that we are looking at right now, and then there is a form, and then there are some sections. And this is a structure that I really like. We landed on this iteratively, and I really like this. First, the form is stuff that we will extract later into a reusable component. We will extract the drawing engine, including these options for color and width and tool and fade. I will extract this into a drawing engine that you can use anywhere where you have some JavaScript going on. So this is the form that is reusable. And then there are things that are specific to Notestrator, the way that we are doing things in Notestrator. For instance, whether you're drawing or you are interacting with the application underneath. So that sort of thing I think needs to go into something different. And that's why we have these sections here. And I didn't give these names, but I guess that's fair. So the structure is, on these guys, we have a div, which is a section and a separator, and a div, which is a section and a separator. Does that make sense? Maybe not. I think that maybe we should attach this line to a section heading. I mean, do you think that we would need a separator without a section heading? Well, we have one instance here. Yeah, I guess I'm going to keep them separate because there may be separators that don't have... Well, in that case, I could just have a heading without any text in there, couldn't I? That would also work. And then, of course, there is the case of the first one, which does not have a line on top. So we would have to handle that. Yeah, and why do we even need a section? A section is a container that will put some spacing in the right way between the heading and the rest of the section. And then on this one that does not have a heading, just have the section content, and that's fine. And I think semantically it makes sense to have a section like that. Yeah, I think I'm going to go like this. I'm going to say that the section has a separator on top. No, I'm going to keep the separators as a special thing. I'm going to keep the separator like that. And then let's look at what section is doing. It's doing a display flex with a column and then some gap. So that's just the gap between the heading and the main contents of the section. Perfect. And it also makes sense semantically to have that. Then for the section heading, we have a font size, which will be extra small because we are going with a bold and then some uppercase situation going on. And I think that it needs to be like this. So font size is going extra small because we are going to do some uppercase thing. And then I think that the letter spacing is fine. Oh, now that I'm using Public Sans, I need to check the weights. All right, they have from 100 to 900, they have it all. So I guess I should test them to see which weight is going to work better on Public Sans. So we have, I'm going to go with the numbers and then I transform it into a variable. This looks right, and 700 is bold, isn't it? Yes, so we don't change anything. Then text align center and transform uppercase and the spacing and the color. Now we need to switch to, at the very least, we'll need some dark mode situation here. Let's see the color that we want to have. So I'm going to restart the app. That will update the HTML, that I then refresh, and then I check the colors. So right now I'm going with a 400 because I don't want to give too much emphasis on this. If I make it 200, no, if I make it 700, then it's too dark. Let me try 600, 500, 400. I think 400 is good. Now for dark mode. Well, the default is 200, and that is too light. Well, if we are going from 200 to 400, it makes sense for me to go from 200. Oh, hang on. I'm going on light mode from 700, which is the default, to 400, which is 300 apart. It's 3 away from my main font color. So to do the same for dark mode, we would go from 200 to 500. That's what we would do. So from 700 to 400, a difference of 3. From 200 to 500, a difference of 3. Let's see if it looks good, and if it does, that's that. Maybe too light. I think that 400 works best. But then let's go with 500 on this one. Right? Because By default, we are going with 200 on dark mode. We switch to 400, 2 apart. By default, we are going with 700, 500, 2 apart. So let me see if I like this. And of course, it's not an exact science. No, I don't like it. I think it needs to be 400 on light mode. I mean, just check this out. Isn't that too heavy on the page? Isn't this better? It's more subdued. And then when I am in dark mode, then if I go to 500, doesn't that look too quiet? Yeah, sometimes it is like this. It's not an exact science. Anything else that we want to do with the headings? No, I don't think so. Now for the section content, this section content is, I'm not sure what this is doing. Let's see. Why am I searching for section content and this whole thing is matching? It makes no sense. But that's all right. I guess it is matching because somewhere in here there will be section content. But I'm only using it in the colors, or not even in the colors. I'm using it in the stroke width, and then I'm using it in the tool and the fade. And then again on this one. I really don't like the way that this works. So let me commit what I have, and then I'm going to start changing things. So this section content is too strong of a name. At the very least, we need to change the name. More to the point, we need to think about how we want to present these things. I think that, funnily enough, for all the things in the app, so for all the things in the form, it makes sense to have, or at least for width, tool, and fade, it makes sense to have these 3 icons. Not for fade though, not even that. So width and tool have a good situation going on where I can have 3 of them. Yeah. So I'm going to change this section content. Let's see, what am I going to do? I think that section content will only hold for width and tool, really. And right now there will be 5 occurrences of this section content, the same as in the browser. So I'm going to rename this from section content 3 columns. Because I will have other kinds of section contents. So we did not do a lot yet. We just changed the name, but we are preparing for something great. We will have different kinds of section contents. There will be the 3 column, the 2 column, the list mode. I guess fade will be that one as well. It will be sort of a list situation. Yeah, I'm looking at the Public Sans font and I'm wondering, do I really like it? It's bringing so much attention to itself. Clearly, it doesn't look like the rest of the operating system. It doesn't blend well with the rest of the operating system. IDQ Sound says, hello. Hi, Arya. Great to have you here, as always. The dark mode looks great. Oh, awesome. I'm glad that you like it. It will look even better when it's done. By the way, since I have you here, can you hear the echo in my voice? We are having visits, so the mattress that is usually behind me trying to muffle some of the echoes is not here. And it's just a bare wall, that's why it's white. And I can hear the echo, and it bugs me so much. But can you hear it? Can you hear it? Also, I changed the way I'm processing my voice again. I know I should stop doing that, but I did it anyway. I also bought some headphones because I couldn't hear the low end when we were hearing. I don't even remember what we were listening. I guess we were listening for like me dropping some balls on the table or whatever. So I couldn't hear all the bass sounds on that. So I bought headphones. Gear acquisition syndrome. So yeah, I changed the way I'm processing my voice, which may affect the echo as well. But I'm using some great stuff. Yeah, definitely. Thuff just notice it. The bigger problem is your expanders are too fast. So yeah, I'm changing. I changed the way that I'm processing my voice because I thought, well, it's silly of me to. Oh, and I should also probably be out of sync. The lips and the sound, I think, are out of sync. Yeah, so I was thinking it's silly of me to try to do everything with zero latency if I have to add latency at the end because of the camera. So I can just calculate the latency and do a clap test and then fix everything. But I thought, well, why don't I bring some other effects that have some latency to them, but are supposed to be better? And I brought all of these effects. And I'm not sure you know all of them. So this is not exactly a gate. It's a smooth expander and gate. So if it is too fast, then I suppose I can change some of these parameters. But I probably will not do it right now. So maybe I'll just disable the gate for now. Though I am using ReEQ. I am using a de-esser that comes with Reaper. I'm using ReEQ even in the high quality mode because it adds a little bit of latency, but not too much. So that's fine. And then this guy is great. This is 3 compressors and it lets you just set a target. So I set a target of -16 and it brings in a fast compressor, a medium compressor, and some slow compressors. Slow compressor, just one. But it maintains this target of -16 LUFS or around that. And of course, it's not exactly perfect, but it's near. And I guess it's not exactly perfect because I'm still using my limiter to cut off the peaks. So that's why I'm bringing down 1 dB, I suppose, or 1 loudness unit. But this also has a gate, and I suppose that maybe having 2 gates is too much. So let me know if the gate is good now that I disabled this. And I tweaked all these parameters with the mattress behind me, so that affects the quality as well. In any case, sync looks good, but yeah, the gate when closed takes a background noise away, and when it comes back, it draws attention to itself. That's too bad. The background noise, I suppose, is part of the room that I cannot do anything about. And it's going to be like 1 month. Our parents are visiting us for... My parents and Linda's parents are visiting us for 1 month. So the echo will be here for 1 month, which is not ideal, but it is what it is. So if the gate is too bad still, I can try to change the gate here, or I can try to remove some of the echoes by adding something like this. And of course, this adds yet more latency, which will mess up the syncing of the lips, but you told me that it was okay, so I don't know. Maybe it is okay. Let's see what else. Yeah, 2 expander system was better in my opinion, though the compressor looks cool. Take some more lows away, maybe a low shelf. Okay, now we are switching to a different topic in this stream, I suppose, but it's my stream. I can do whatever I want. So yeah, 2 gates was better. I also liked it better when I was testing it myself. And take some of the lows away, maybe a low shelf. Well, essentially that's more or less what I did here in Reaffir. The Reaffir really helped. Awesome. Do you think I should go for a low shelf here as well? I'm trying to keep the EQ minimal. Yeah, and I think I only need the refer. I hope I only need refer in this month when I don't have the muffling thing behind me. Yeah, if there is anything else that I think I could do to improve this, let me know. Some artifacts, but overall lot less echo. Yeah. Okay, so my family's here. I have to go now. Refer is doing good. Awesome. Okay, so I'll probably leave Refer, and I'm going to wrap up for now. I see you back Monday, and I will continue working on Notestrator. No, forget that. I'm starting a new project. I will finish Notestrator at some point, but right now I'm pushing this, and on Monday I'm starting something new. I will probably be streaming longer because my family's traveling, so I'll probably be streaming longer, and I will be doing JS effects. I'm starting a new design system. I'm starting a whole new thing. Yeah, okay. I'm back here to say goodbye. Let's see what else Arya has to say. Emailed you about a paid gig. Okay, I saw the email, but I didn't read it. I saw it right before the stream started. Let me know if you're down as soon as you can. I will answer you as soon as I can. Super excited. Okay, yeah, and on Monday, I'm going to start the JS effects thing. I am going to revisit all the plugins I ever did, and I'm going to come up with a new design system. I'm going to add some graphical user interfaces for all of them, including the auto mixer. So looking forward to that, and starting Monday. And yeah, that's all for now. Thanks for all of you for being here, and I see you back on Monday for more of this. Have a great weekend. Bye.